2,000 years ago, the most powerful man on earth was losing his mind, not to madness, but to war. His empire was burning, a plague was killing millions, and the people he trusted were turning against him. And every night, in a war tent lit by a single candle, the Roman emperor did something strange. He opened a private journal and he wrote himself notes. Not orders, not laws, small reminders on how to survive the next day without breaking. He never meant for anyone to read them, but they survived. And inside them is the closest thing history has ever had to a manual for a calm mind. Here's why that should matter to you. You will never control most of what happens to you. The traffic, the news, the people who let you down, the plans that fall apart. You cannot fix the world fast enough to finally feel calm. So either your peace depends on things you can't control or it doesn't. That was the emperor's problem too. And over a lifetime he built a set of tools to solve it. In the next few minutes, I'm going to hand you these tools one by one, and we'll end with a single question he asked himself every time his world came apart. A question you can use tonight, the moment something rattles you. Let's start where he started. Most of your pain does not come from what happens to you, it comes from the story you tell yourself about what happens. Something small goes wrong, a message, a delay, a look on someone's face, and in seconds your mind builds a storm out of it. It plays the argument you haven't had. It writes the ending you're afraid of. The event was a pebble. The suffering is the avalanche your mind piles on top of it. The emperor caught himself doing this again and again. So he reminded himself of something simple and easy to forget. You don't control the world. You control your mind. And the moment that truly sinks in, you stop being at war with everything that happens. This is the first tool and everything else is built on it. In every situation there are two kinds of things. The things you can control, your choices, your effort, your response, and the things you can't. Other people, the past, the outcome, the world. Almost all of our suffering comes from mixing these two up. We pour our energy into what we can't control and neglect the one thing we can. So the emperor trained himself to sort them constantly. Is this mine to control or not? And if it wasn't, he let it go. Not with defeat, but with relief, because you cannot lose what was never in your hands. Now a darker tool, and maybe the most powerful. The emperor kept that close. Not to be morbid, but to stay awake. He reminded himself every day that he would die. That everyone he loved would die. That the emperors before him were already dust and he would soon join them. It sounds bleak, it isn't. When you truly remember that your time is short, the small things shrink, the grudge you're holding, the insult from a stranger, the endless worry about what other people think. That has a way of sorting the trivial from the true. You could live life right now, he told himself, so let that decide what you do and say and care about. Not someday, now. He had another trick for shrinking his troubles. He called it looking down from above. He would picture himself rising up far above his own life, above the palace, above the armies, above the city, until the whole empire was a map, then a dot, then nothing at all. From up there his enemies were tiny. His crisis was a speck on a speck spinning through a vast and ancient universe. It didn't make his problems fake, it made them the right size. Most of what steals your peace feels enormous only because your face is pressed right up against it. Step back far enough and the mountain becomes a pebble again. Then there was the hardest part of his life, other people. He ruled millions and many of them lied to him, used him, wished him gone. So, each morning he prepared. He told himself that today he would meet people who were ungrateful, arrogant and cruel, because they couldn't tell the difference between what truly helps them and what harms them. He didn't say this to hate them, he said it so they couldn't surprise him and couldn't drag him down to their level. You will not fix every difficult person you meet, but you can decide in advance that their behavior doesn't get to control yours, their action, your response, two separate things. All of this points to one idea, the heart of everything he wrote. No matter what they take from you, your comfort, your freedom, your name, even your body, there is one place they cannot reach, your mind, your power to choose how you meet what happens. He called it an inner fortress, a citadel that no army, no emperor, no disaster can storm unless you open the gates yourself. People can hurt you, they cannot make you hate. They can wound your body, they cannot force your judgment. The last of your freedoms, the freedom to choose, is your own response. Is the one thing that can never be taken. It can only be handed over. So how did he use all of this in the heat of a genuinely bad day? He built one habit. A single question, ready for the moment something shook him. He would stop and ask, is this actually harming me or is it just new? Just surprising. Real danger, you deal with. Mere surprise, you can let pass by. Because most of what rattles us isn't harm at all, it's just the unexpected wearing the mask of a threat. And he practiced that question until it became automatic. Until, in the small space between what happened and how he felt about it, he could choose. Here's what he would want you to know. He was not a calm man by nature. That is the whole reason the journal exists. He wrote the same reminders over and over because he kept forgetting them, because he was anxious and angry and tired, just like you. The meditations are not the diary of a man who had it all figured out. They are the diary of a man practicing every single day, failing and starting again. That's the secret nobody tells you. You don't defeat your worried mind once and win. You just come back to the practice one more time than you walked away from it. The emperor is gone, his empire is thus, exactly as he always knew it would be. But the practice survived. 2000 years later, in a war tent lit by a single candle, a frightened, powerful man wrote a note to steady himself, and somehow it reached you, tonight. So take the question with you. The next time your world tilts, a message, a loss, a look, before the storm has time to build, stop and ask, is this harming me or just surprising me? That small pause is the whole inheritance. It's the space where a Roman emperor found his freedom, and it's still there waiting in you right now. Thank you so much for watching this video.